All right, everybody, sit down and shut up. Okay? Shut up. I don't want to hear anything right now. I want everybody to keep their mouths quiet because it is time. It is time for that famous, that top tier notch, that you know what it is. The time when you hear it, it rings in your bells like a ding-a-ling, ching-a-ling, ching. Because you know what I'm talking about. Don't cut me off. I'm talking.
Thank you for cutting him off. That was going nowhere.
It was going places, and you ruined. I didn't.
What is a ding-a-ling, ring-a-ling?
You know the song, a ching-a-ling, ding-a-ling, jing-a-ling. No, you don't know that song, the Jingle Bells.
Maybe not like that.
Jingle Bells.
I don't think those are the right. Those are the right words.
Those aren't the right. Those aren't the right lyrics.
No.
I think they are.
Giddy
it doesn't fucking matter what you think, because what we're talking about right now, yeah, that's the lyrics. What we're talking about right now is the 3 stages of winter, the Who You Got Challenge, where we have the challenger, me, Mr. Oh So Smooth, the smooth effect himself, going up against the champion, the longest reigning Who You Got champion, Sir Mista Malave, the Music Man. How are you?
Yes. That is great, man. Thank you for that intro. You know what's great, though? That my challenger introduces me, and it sounds so great because when I win again, can you introduce me again? Yeah, that'd be great.
I think he needs to add music to that intro for you.
I'm pretty good at doing introductions, so I could do it again if need be.
That'd be the ultimate prize. That'd be an ultimate prize. But I got something for you, Smooth Effect. I got something for you. Is it the
actual lyrics?
500. Yes, I already gave that to you. You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
And that's stage number 2. We'll get there because you may be the movie guy, but I am the music man. All right, so we'll get there in the second stage. But does the phrase 554 days mean anything to you?
It's Roman Reigns.
Nope. Roman Reigns is actually 11 in change.
He's passed over.
I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, he's passed over 1,000.
But 554 days.
Damn.
That's right. That is how many days I've been your Who You Got champion. And that's going to continue after 3 stages of winter. And it's going to march on to those glory days because that belt is not going anywhere, baby. And the way we drafted and the way the brackets have fallen, I'm excited. But you know what? We'll break it down because you do have a fighting chance because you are a fighter. So you always get a puncher's chance. So we'll get there. I cannot wait to break it down to see which movies are going to the WinterCon and 3 stages of hell. It's going to be great.
All right, and of course we have Sabrina
554 days.
Don't forget, we also have Sabrina Ace here. Hi, Sabrina.
Yes. Hi.
Right now, she's
kind
of in the middle of. She's kind of in the middle of everything.
I'm enjoying the shit talking back and forth. I'm really excited to see who's gonna win because that means that one of you, all the shit talk would have been for nothing.
Oh, that happens all the time.
And I want to know who it is.
I'm used to that, actually. If anything,
he's the epitome of.
You have the chance to turn it around, Tommy.
Yes, I beat you, and
you have the chance to turn it around.
I can make this work. This again, undefeated at WinterCon. That I am. That is a fact. And I am. We've only done 3 stages of winter one time, and I won it. So, Mr. Malave, you may be the music man, but again, I am the movie guy, baby. I am the movie guy, baby.
Okay.
And we are doing movies right now, and you are in. You might be in a little bit of trouble, but we shall see. Because let's get into those brackets now. There are only, so Miss Malave, you had to pick the topics. That was the deal.
Yep.
What was your topic for the movies?
All right. So I wanted to make it a little interesting, right? Not just holiday movies, because y'all did that the first stage. But you know what? This is night school horror. So we had to add that nice little horror twist to it. So we are drafting and we drafted winter horror movies. That's right. Movies that have taking place in the dead of winter. I'm talking about snow. I'm talking about all that cold, everything else like that. We have 8 beautiful movies that we are going to break down, and 2 of them are going to the cons representing you and me. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it was a really good pick, especially because, yes, this is Night School Horror that we are currently doing. For all the listeners that of Night School Horror, we will be doing the second stage, which is holiday music, which you can go to the second rounds page to go and listen. It will not be on Night School Horror because it has nothing to do with horror, except maybe one of my songs. But we'll get into that when we do the music episode. So that is the deal. And we realized, Mista Malave, we realized that there's not many horror movies that take place during winter. You know, there's obvious ones, and then so we couldn't do an 8-on-8, so we did a 4v4, and that's how we're gonna do this. And we're gonna start right now. We're gonna start with the champ himself because you, sir, you didn't have the first pick. I got the first pick, so we'll start with you. What matchup would you like to go to first? Oh, but before you go ahead, keep in mind. When it comes to voting, Sabrina, obviously, she gets herself a vote. And then the person that's conference, it's not. So that now it's your turn. This would be me. I will vote as well. If there's a tie, then Mista Malave, you will make that tying decision. No sabotages in this one.
No.
Too short. No sabotages.
Movies.
Right. There's only 8 movies.
It'd be impossible.
No sabotaging. So it is what it is. We could start. Mista Malave, let's hear it.
All right, so we're gonna ease our way into this. We're gonna do 30 Days of Night versus Jack Frost. Your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie.
Yes, your favorite horror movie.
No, my favorite horror movie is not this Jack Frost movie.
Yes,
but we'll get there. We will get there. Go ahead.
Yes, we definitely shall. So we're gonna start off with 30 Days of Night. Are you guys familiar with this movie?
Yes,
I am. Yes,
very much so. So Sabrina, so we got Josh Hartnell, right? He's in there. And
who?
he was in The Faculty.
Who?
What's his name? His name is Josh. What?
No.
Josh,
no, you gotta say
Josh Hartnett.
There you go.
When I said Hartwell, I'm sorry. I'm still on Survivor Series mode. Like, it was great.
Josh Hartnell. I think you said Josh Hartnell.
I don't know. That's my cousin. That's his cousin, actually. His cousin.
I like Josh Hartnell.
My brain just
me too. He's actually better. He's actually better. You know, they kind of look alike. All right,
well, that's good.
But no, it's Josh Hartnett. He's in this movie. Danny Hudson and Ben Foster. And a few other people. It came out in 2007. And it's a vampire movie in Antarctica, in the northern hemisphere, Alaska. You know, and as you know, in Alaska they have a whole month of darkness. And the sun just doesn't want to come out. And of course, what better place to have some vampires go run amok than in Alaska for a whole month? I'll open up to the peanut gallery. Sabrina, let's talk about it.
I love 30 Days of Night. I'm not a typical vampire lover just because I think they're over sexualized, and it's like always a weird feeling where I'm just like, I want them to be bloodthirsty, ravenous, and 30 Days of Night was exactly that. Bloodthirsty, ravenous vampires just doing all the killing. I loved it. I love the concept behind it because, of course, as you said, 30 Days of Night, and then they have 30 Days of Day. It's just, why not? That's the best place. I mean, it's the worst place to live in that situation, but it's the best place to have that situation for a movie.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree with you. I thought it was definitely. I love what you said, like a ravenous, like vampires. I like the sexual stuff too, but like honestly, we'll talk about vampires another day because we will. We're telling you, we will. But no, I loved it. This movie is pretty gory. Yes. Which we love gore. There's a lot of blood, and honestly, rightfully so. If you have a vampire movie that doesn't have blood, Twilight, it's not a good fucking vampire movie.
There was a paper cut in there. Calm down.
There was
a paper cut, and he went crazy. But I just, you need blood. All right. And this movie is like a hidden gem for me. I feel like it doesn't get its flowers as much. It got a 51% on Rotten Tomato, and it's 6.6 on IMDb. And it maybe gives like an 8.5 in my heart. 8.5 in my heart. But Tommy, what do you think about 30 Days of Night?
I really like this movie, actually. I think I have to agree with you, Mr. Malave. I don't believe it gets the due it deserves. The horror community, yes, I think we give it its due because it is a very good vampire movie. And like I said, and you mentioned, it's extremely gory. And the one thing that I do like is the concept of this movie. When these motherfuckers go vampire, they go vampire. They go Blade vampire kind of shit. Shit gets fucking real. I will say that I used to confuse this movie with the other Josh Hartnett movie, 30 Days and 30 Nights, where he was making sure he didn't
40 days.
It's 40 days?
40
days and 40 days when he wasn't trying to have sex.
For Lent.
Right. He was saying he was giving up sex. But I used to confuse it because Josh Hartnett is also in this movie and he's also in that movie. He's a badass. I always liked Josh Hartnett, and I feel that it was kind of after this movie that he kind of disappeared in a sense.
Yeah, they buried him after this.
They really buried him until like Penny Dreadful. He kind of showed face afterwards. But I really liked him in this movie, though I feel his character could be replaced by anybody. And I feel that the idea of this movie came from another movie where we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I feel that's like where they were like, oh, we can do the same thing, but do it with vampires. And I really, really, really like Danny Hudson in this movie. He is the big baddie, and he's a bad motherfucker in this movie. So I feel like the concept with the way they actually utilize the vampires, they give me that Blade vibe to it. It's a good fucking movie. It's a good time.
Yeah, definitely a good time. I love how the planning and everything and how they have to just survive the month. But not a lot of people survived. We all love that. We love lots of killing. We love lots of killing.
Well, it's very gory.
Yes, very, very gory.
Beautiful gory.
Beautiful gore. I want to get that tatted somewhere. But
T-shirts coming soon, maybe.
T-shirts coming soon. Night School Horror. Beautiful gore. That's it.
Beautiful gore.
Book it. # beautiful gore.
And this occurs during the there's a name for it. What is it? The polar night. So it's a month-long polar night, and I think in reality, I believe it's only for 24 hours. If I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think so. I can't confirm. That's why it's called a polar.
It was a month.
No, I think that's just strictly for the movie. Yes, it's only 24 hours.
You know what?
A polar night? I could have swore it was longer.
It says it right here. The polar night is a phenomenon in the northernmost, southernmost regions of Earth where nights last for more than 24 hours. So it's over 24, but it never specifically states it is 1 month. I don't think you would be able to. I think that'd be a lot of trouble at a certain point. Too many vampires.
Too many vampires, as we see in the movie.
Too many vampires.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, let's get into the movie that it's facing. It's the 1997 horror comedy classic, Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about there's an abominable snowman, and he just fucks some women and
fucks one woman. First off, fucks one woman.
I mean,
and
I think that's enough.
It's terrible. Okay, first off, I'll make that very clear. I have met Shannon Elizabeth. She was, unfortunately, she was raped by a snowman, and he used his carrot. He used his nose carrot. I fucking think this is just one of those movies where they threw it out there, was like, hey, man, people are making some stupid movies. Let's have a serial killer get frozen, melted. I think that's how, whatever the fuck, the toxic shit hit him.
It's like, it was like chrono freeze. I don't know.
It was dumb. And he turned into a snowman. He came back into becoming a snowman. Also, Michael Keaton did this. And he has a great voice, though. The guy that plays Jack Frost has an amazing voice. I love the voice.
Scott McDonald.
He has a great voice for Jack. But this movie's really fucking stupid. Have you seen the second one? He goes to an island. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like
Doesn't
a
he have
tropical
like
island?
little
Yes,
other
yes.
doesn't he have little other like snowmans too?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
No, it's fucking great. The second one is so much better than this one. Like,
If my memory serves right, wasn't this one like straight to video or something?
Yes, it was.
Direct
It
to
didn't
video,
come
As
out.
it
yeah.
should be.
Yeah, this can't go in the theater.
Why not?
I remember actually just
in the
like
dollar theater.
renting this movie. My dad was like, "Oh, look, there's
It's a
killer
scary
snowman."
snowman. Yeah, I want to watch it.
Or
You ever confuse it with the other Jack Frost and pick up the wrong movie from Blockbuster?
I get scared by
Yes.
both movies. But we'll get there.
yeah. I'm the type of person that took both of them at one point and switched the DVDs to just fuck people up.
You're my hero.
Yeah, but I don't feel that's a true fuck
Please
up
do that.
because in the long
Continue
run, you're
doing
not
that.
gaining from either of those movies.
No, but if you're expecting
No,
like
but
a
if
nice
you want family
movie,
wholesome and then you see a
that
carrot.
Family wholesome. Have you watched that fucking movie?
Yeah, no, it's
we'll
scary
get
as
there.
fuck, but like,
We'll get there.
and
We're not
if you want to
talking
hear
about it.
Michael Keaton sing, then
Oh my God, I don't want to hear my kid sing.
you get Shannon Elizabeth getting fucked by a carrot, like you
That
know?
scene
Surprise.
is so like it's in the shower too, and like he just appears like he comes up from the ground and then he just turns into the snowman and he bangs the shit out of her too, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
it's fucking horrible. But it's also funny because I remember when I was watching it for the first time, and when this movie come out.
97.
Okay, 97. So let's see. I didn't watch it when it first came out. You did a couple years later, so
Yeah,
probably in high school at this time, thinking, well, high school? Yeah, probably like high school this time, thinking, oh, what's this fucking shit? And then when he starts to like go right to town on Shannon Elizabeth, I'm like, what's happening right now? But you can't look away because you're wondering, is this how she dies? And it is. She dies because she gets
Yeah.
fucked by a
See,
carrot.
For me, it wasn't so much me going, is this where she dies? It was like watching a car fire. I was like,
Mm.
You can't look away.
oh, how did that happen? But also,
And then
what?
boom.
Why?
Why is this happening?
And then it explodes and she dies. You know?
You
She
know,
doesn't
believe
want
it
to
or
talk
not,
about
this is
this.
this is probably the movie that the American Pie people saw and was just like, we need those tits.
It's very,
Yeah,
then
why
they
not?
brought
Yeah,
her-
that's very possible.
because this came out before, because American Pie came out in 99.
This is her film debut.
Oh my God, she went right to
What a
tits. Huh?
debut.
She's just like, you know what? Just let him go.
This
Tits
is her
akimbo.
her debut was, hey, you're going to be in this snowman killer movie. All right, cool. What's going to happen? You're going to get fucked by a snowman. He has a penis? No, he's going to use his carrot. All right. How much are you
All
paying?
right. I mean, yeah, right. How do I die? That's how you
Yeah,
die.
They had to pay her a really good
You
good
gotta
paycheck with
think
that. I
they
mean,
had to explain this scene to her as if it was Psycho, like Alfred Hitchcock directing skills here, being like, so you're gonna be in the shower. Have you ever seen Psycho? Love that movie. Great. Okay, you remember how she dies in the movie? Yeah, it was iconic. Well, we're about to make you even more iconic. You're going to die as well in the shower. Love it. How am I gonna die? You're gonna get fucked by a carrot. What? You're gonna get fucked with a carrot by a snowman. It's a puppet. It's a puppet. It's not Jim Henson puppet, but that comes later. We'll get there. But yeah, so you're going to get fucked by a puppet. And when everybody thinks of amazing shower scenes, it's going to be Psycho, Jack Frost.
Book it.
This movie's a fucking, it's amazing.
It gets off the rails, honestly. I don't
Off
want to
the
talk
rails?
about this movie anymore.
Off the rails? This shit's not even on the fucking train.
I just
No, I mean, because the train is frozen over.
The train
it's
hasn't
not even
fucking
a train.
started.
It's the train car. Just one train car.
It's not even
Just
on a
one.
wheel.
and it's not even like an engine one. It's the one they do the
Yes.
lever thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lever
and
crane.
then they're the crank leather.
And it's still not
And,
moving.
still
No.
not moving because it's frozen and there's a carrot wedged
Fuck
in
this
between
movie.
the legs.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the voting. How
Let's
about
do
that
it.
one?
Let's do it. Get into the votes.
Ugh.
All right, Sabrina.
Why did you make a sound, Sabrina?
Because it's not even.
Oh, I
What
thought
are
it was
we
not
voting
even
on?
easy. I thought she was about to say it's not even. This isn't even. This is fucking hard. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
We're talking about. We're
Yeah.
talking about
It's not hard.
Jack
I'm just
Frost.
I was like, please
30 Days
no.
of
Yeah,
Night.
sure. We're voting. What are we voting on?
What's
It's
the?
30 Days of Night. It's 30 Days of Night.
It's obviously 30 Days of Night. I don't even
All
think
right.
we need to discuss that, but we
There's
have to
no
give
vote
it.
there.
We have
It's
to give
just
it a
telling
second
you the
round.
fact. We're doing 30 Days of Night.
So that
Yeah,
that means. Go ahead, Mr. Malave.
Yeah, so I of course nobody's gonna vote for Jack Frost. So that means we're all gonna raise our glass.
We raise our glass.
And we're gonna give 30 Days of Night a second round.
All around.
All around.
Well deserved. Well deserved. It had a hot.
Y'all trying to play me.
It had a
Let's
hard
vote Jack
fucking
Frost.
fought battle.
No.
Hard fought battle. Well, all right. Let's move to the next one because the next one's actually not too bad. A good one to discuss.
No. Are we bouncing back and forth, or you want to just keep it in my?
I say let's do your first round, then we'll do my first round, and we'll finish it.
All right. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Go ahead, Tommy. You get to pick your first round.
No, you still go. You're still picking your first round.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, there's only one more matchup left.
Exactly.
We
Might
get
as
to
well finish.
actually talk some good movies.
Yeah, let's talk.
We're going, and this one's going to be tough. We're going with Gremlins versus The Shining.
Ooh.
So let's talk about The Shining first.
Okay.
all right, because I love The Shining.
Good movie.
It's Jack Nicholson,
It is.
Stephen King, and if you don't know what The Shining is about, or if you haven't seen The Shining, you shouldn't be listening to us because it's a fucking doozy. All right. He goes, just quick synopsis. He goes into this old hotel and he's a writer and he needs some peace and quiet. And him and his wife and his son, they go there and he's like the caretaker to make some money and write his book. And he starts going crazy, seeing ghosts, drinking with ghosts. He wants to make out with ghosts. And he winds up getting possessed and he hears Johnny. And then we get a bunch of like blood coming out of the elevator. We get these scary ass twins and we get the little boy getting all seizured out. It's a movie, man. It's a movie that just keeps giving for almost 3 hours. And there's a blizzard that just traps them all in there. And there's just so many iconic scenes. I mean, he freezes to death and he just kind of stays there. And it's just a fucking great movie. I'm just going to open it up to you guys because I'm going to start blabbering and we're going to just start talking about the whole movie and break it down. And I'm pretty sure we're going to revisit this movie in this show because there's a lot we can learn and a lot of stuff that they've done in this movie that gets repeated as like a guideline for horror movies and psychological thrillers throughout time. So I'm going to open it up. So Tommy, what do you have to say about The Shining?
Well, instant classic. This movie is absolutely fantastic. Now, keep in mind, when we talk about The Shining, when they discuss The Shining, it's the situation that's occurring with Danny. Danny has The Shining.
Red rum.
Yes, red rum. And he puts it in his finger. It's in his finger. Red rum. And also, so it's him and Dick. Dick also, he's like the what was he again? Was he the cook or
I think
the
he was.
caretaker?
I think he was the other caretaker. He
Who's
was
the
the
other
one
caretaker?
before, and he was like the good one.
Because they had like free reign of the whole hotel.
Yeah, they had the whole.
Nobody was in
because
it,
Nobody
so
was
they-
there, and it was during
Yeah.
like the certain season when they shut down. But they need somebody there to pretty much make sure everything is running. They have to keep the heat going. That's kind of literally why Jack Nicholson is in this movie, and he begins to go crazy. Which, when you really begin to watch the movie, and you watch it multiple times, he was crazy the whole time. This the fact that he was in this isolated situation is where when he finally gets into his mind is where it truly fucking opens up and shit gets fucking real. So in the long run, he was always a psycho. This situation just opened it up, you know.
It's almost like with like possession movies and exorcism when if you are the weak, you are gonna get the possessed. So he was.
I
Already
don't think he was
kinda fucked.
possessed though. I don't know where did possessed come from. I wouldn't say he was possessed. He's just
I said
psychotic.
it's like the possession movies. I didn't say he was possessed.
I thought you said he was possessed.
Maybe.
Oh,
Let's
no,
run a tape
I didn't,
back.
because I never. He definitely wasn't possessed. I think that was he's just a crazy motherfucker. They made it clear like he was abusive and whatnot. So it was more of just he flipped the switch kind of thing. He just fucking lost it. And they even
He's a bad guy that got worse.
Yeah, and they warned him in the beginning when they even mentioned, like, can you even handle this? I mean, this is like legitimate isolation. You're completely alone, besides your family, obviously, but there's no one else here. You know, there's nobody he can talk to.
Like the cop even said it would take like an hour to get to them if anything happened.
I think longer. I think it was even longer because like with the blizzard and whatnot. So
with the blizzard, yeah.
So it would be like a few hours if anything happened. That's where, you know, his opportunity.
A few hours to a day.
Yeah, it would take for a long time to do that. But again, when it comes to the way it was shot, I mean, this movie is shot beautifully. Okay, Stanley Kubrick. Okay, he is a fucking mastermind behind the camera. He knows how to bring the fear out because let's remember, Shelley Duvall is in this movie. She is the wife. And the scene when he's chopping down and shit and she has that fear, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the backstory for that, but like Stanley Kubrick was like a real piece of shit and really was trying to make her like scared, and he would make them tired. Like he made them fucking feel like this was legit. So I know she can't stand that son of a bitch. Like she was like, I would never work with him ever again. Like he was a horrible man, like all this shit. But it brought forth a phenomenal movie. And it's top tier in the horror community. It's definitely top 10. Definitely in the discussion of top 5. Depending on your GIFs, but top 10, 1,000%. It's top tier.
Absolutely. And if you heard Night School Horror before, and it showed up in all of our top horror movies, except for Sabrina's. But
I don't remember it being mine.
It wasn't?
I don't think so.
Well, we got to run the tape back.
I don't fucking remember.
No, not in our top 5. No, it wasn't in my top 5 either. So it was top 10, definitly.
You're on a fucking roll, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm on the roll. I'm on the honor roll. But yes, Sabrina, what do you think?
I agree with both of you guys. I mean, it is a classic. I can't imagine somebody not seeing The Shining, or at least knowing the iconic scenes from The Shining, because even if you haven't seen the movie, you're gonna know that bathroom scene of him chopping down the door and, you know, here's Johnny. You're gonna know Red Rum. It's been parodied in so many other things that you have to at least know a bit of it. It is one of the most iconic horror films. Whether it's in the top 5, the top 10, doesn't matter. Everyone knows The Shining to some degree. And it made a name for itself by that. I mean, you can't not know The Shining.
That's true.
Definitely.
You definitely have to know The Shining.
Yep, definitely. All right. Well, I mean, if no one else has anything else to say about The Shining, we'll go to the Gremlins. We're going to Gremlins. All right, Gremlins, 1984, American horror comedy film. It was directed by Joe Dante.
Dante.
Dante. No, Dante. There's Dante. Yes. But yes, no, it's it takes place around Christmas time, and you know, the parents give them a nice little something from a Chinese store, and it's a nice little mogwai. And it's they have some rules though. You can't feed them after midnight, and you can't get them wet. Other than that, they'll be your friend to the end.
You also can't keep them out of direct sunlight.
Direct sunlight. I took that trivia question.
You did.
That'll be coming out next week, that episode.
Oh,
pop quiz.
Yes. Yes. No direct sunlight either. Yes. I love this movie. I didn't see it in 1984. I wasn't even born. But when I was when I did see it for the first time, I thought it was kind of weird. It was weird at first. I was like, I wasn't expecting it, and then I instantly loved it, especially when Gizmo turned into well, not turn into like when they expanded out of it, and he had the evil one, and they just ran chaos around everyone, and they just like they were going around killing people. Like shit was crazy.
I don't think
There's a
anybody
huge
dies in
warning
this
label.
movie.
Well, maybe the second did
I
they
think
kill people in the second
No,
one?
I think that's why this movie was very strange to me as a kid, because it is rated PG, so nobody dies in this movie, and if it does, it's definitely completely off camera. But it's like the Poltergeist is rated PG. Nobody dies in that movie. Like
Right.
this movie, well, that's why when they say it's a horror movie, you're sitting there like, how? Yeah, okay, the evil gremlins could be pretty scary, but they're just causing chaos. That's all they were doing. They were just, throw the trash cans and push people, and people would run away. Like, they tried to kill people. They would scratch them and bite them, but there was never, I don't think there was any true death in this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe in the second one, maybe, but I don't think in this one. They were just little cute little gremlins, and they come in and
They're little chaos babies.
that's all they do.
I love that.
They just
I love
trash
that about you.
things. Just you're like, oh, hello, little gremlin. Then it goes
Yeah, you open up the door, they're just like, ha!
Yeah,
Like, I'm closing the
it
door
makes
now.
You start laughing, like you start having a good time.
Just lock the door,
laughing
it's
at
fine.
it. Well, they'll just go through the
Just lock
window.
door, leave them in there.
They'll just run through the fucking. You're like,
They can have it. It's their
hello.
house now.
Yeah.
That's fine. They can take the house. Enjoy it, gentlemen. It's all yours. I mean, what in the second one? I think is when you get the girl.
Yes.
That was fucking funny.
That was with lipstick
funny.
on.
the lipstick and the boobs.
Put the fucking boobs.
How do we make it look like a girl? I know. Slap some tits on her.
Put some
And
boobies
lipstick.
on that.
Give her some
red.
lipstick.
I think she was on the cover of that one.
She was.
Yeah, I think
That
so,
was their
yeah.
marketing tool. Look, there's a girl one.
You were
There's a
like,
girl
yeah, we're gonna watch this one. It wasn't good.
It was not good.
Fantastic,
The first one,
but the first one's good. Okay, the first one's a good
Yes.
fucking time, and it's funny. It's chaotic. I mean, people name their pets after Gizmo. Sabrina,
Absolutely, I did.
Sabrina did that.
Because he's a little chaos baby.
That's what it is, and Gizmo's adorable.
Yes.
he is the first Furby. All right.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a perfect
Honestly,
way
I
to
think
put it.
I'm not sure if Mama Ace still has her little Gizmo doll.
Oh no.
Maybe in the
Don't-
attic,
don't-
but I'm pretty sure she still has it.
Oh yes. I love that. You need to go look for them. All right. And then
I
just, like,
do.
blink the eyes.
Like
Yeah,
the
it was-
Gizmo, it was like a fuzzy little Gizmo doll, and then like she was on this thing of Monchichi that also reminded her of Gizmo. It's a weird thing. I don't know if she still has it, but I need to ask her if it's in the attic.
I gotta
feel
be honest with you. My sister got a Furby, and I tried wetting it because I wanted chaos babies.
You wanted the evil one to come out. Come on.
I was like, let's see if this
I
actually
want
happens.
the cool one.
No, actually, I just broke her Furby. So
I'm gonna get
Turns
into
out you
haunted
can't-
Furbies later. So
yeah. Oh no,
uh,
No,
haunted Furbies, huh?
no. There's haunted
Yeah.
Furbies.
haunted toys, haunted dolls.
Well, yeah,
haunted
we're not
Furbies.
talking about that type of stuff. That's not nice. We don't add
Yeah.
that fuel to the fire when we're in the middle of talking about fucking Gremlins, okay? Which is a fun family film. Fun for the family. Anybody,
It is,
Sky
just,
could
with
watch that
parental
movie,
guidance.
okay?
You know what it is? There's a doll staring at Tommy right now, and he's scared to death.
Oh, it's a Power Ranger doll. I think I'll be all right.
Oh,
Yeah, you're fine. You're
You're
fine.
fine.
It's Ninjor. I'll be
You're fine.
okay.
You're fine.
Oh,
It's a Ninja action figure. No, but for real, like this movie's great. All right, this movie it is a classic. It is a Christmas classic film, because as Mista Malave you put it, it does take place during Christmas. He was a Christmas present, and
Even though he shouldn't have been.
no,
Because the shop owner said no multiple
yes,
times.
Yes.
multiple times said no, but that's what makes these kind of movies exciting. You know, when you have something cute and adorable.
We want what we can't have.
And you're like, well, I want this. And they're like, well, you can't have it. And it's kind of the same thing. I think this is kind of how Little Shop of Horrors got its idea too, where they were thinking
yeah.
like, They were like, oh, cool. So we'll do it, but we'll have something actually kill people, and we'll make it a plant. So, and you see this, same thing like with The Shining, like they have a lot of parodies. There's a lot of parodies to Gremlins as well. So these two films going head to head, they're good because a lot of people will put both movies in top 10. Now, not top 10 favorite of all times. Top 10, Shining, I could say, but top 10, like, favorite holiday films, wintry films, these two will definitely fall into it.
Sure. Horror films, winter films, sure. Yes. If winter films, they're definitely in the top.
Right.
But yeah, I love me some Gremlins, man. It has that campy good fun, and like you said, it got parodied so many different times. Concepts from this movie gets just reworked into movies that we've seen now. But yeah, I mean, does anyone else want to speak on these chaos babies before we go into the votes?
I mean, I can't really say anything that hasn't already been said. It's good, wholesome fun with a lot of chaos.
Fun. Remember,
good, wholesome family fun with a lot of chaos.
This guy did Small Soldiers, let's remember. And that's a family fun movie where people could have died.
Yes.
With their mini tanks.
I love that movie.
All right. I love that movie. But we're not talking about that movie. It's Shining versus Gremlins, and we're gonna open it up to the floor.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Tommy. You get to pick first.
I'm going with Gremlins.
You're going with Gremlins. Okay.
I'm just gonna I feel Gremlins deserves a vote.
Okay. All right.
I feel it deserves a vote.
Sabrina?
As much as I want to vote for Gremlins, because again, love my little chaos babies, I have to give it to The Shining.
All right.
Mista Malave,
1-1, so I guess it's up to me. I picked the Gremlins for a reason because I love it, but I cannot vote it through. It is The Shining, obviously. It's the better of the movie. It's the better horror movie. And it's not good old family fun. It's a lot of family killing. Well, not too much. No one died, but Jack. But anyway,
the black guy
know
died.
What I'm talking about.
The black guy died. The black guy got an axe to the chest.
Yes. No, he definitely did.
That was some fucked up.
Shining is an actual horror.
That motherfucker got an axe
Gremlins
to the chest.
is like.
Gremlins is a horror film. I don't know why, but Gremlins is considered a horror fantasy
the horror
movie.
genre, but
I don't know why. But then again, Poltergeist PG, so
Yeah, but
Jaws
it's a horror
was
movie
PG.
that, like, you can. I'm pretty sure you could play it for Sky. No, she'll definitely get nightmares. Boom.
No,
horror.
She would be okay with this movie. I would say she'd be okay.
There you go. It's good old family fun. Well,
Jaws is a PG rated movie.
What?
Jaws is a PG rated movie.
Oh, okay.
I'll just say
Gremlins
is family fun, whereas Shining is fun for the family, if you get what I mean.
If you're Jack. Jack and chopping motherfuckers.
I like that. This chopping.
That's good.
Chopping,
I like
chopping
that
on some wood.
Yeah, some wood of human bone. All right, we're gonna move on to my first round now. So we'll save do yours. All right, so we're gonna start with the movie Let the Right One In, and that's going against Misery. So let's start with Let the Right One In. Let the Right One In is from 2008. It is a horror romance film. Has anybody here not have seen Let the Right One In?
No.
You haven't seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay, so everybody has seen it.
Yes.
Okay, I will say right off the bat, this movie is fucking awesome. I haven't, let's see, when the first time I watched this last year for the first time because I heard a lot of people talking about it. And I'm not a big fan of like international films. I don't like to read when I watch movies, and I feel that distracts me, hence why I don't like anime, because I can't try to read and keep up at the same time. It bothers me. So this is actually a Swedish movie, and last year, when I had COVID, I sat down and I watched it. And it was really fucking good. Like, I was able to get through it, even dealing with the fact that there was, subtitles, and I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm going with it. You feel like, wow, this is such a great love story. And it sort of is, but then there's like a meaning behind the love story. It's a vampire movie, and it's gory as fuck, too. Shit gets fucking real. And the two kids in this movie are just awesome. They're fantastic in this movie. Let's take it to the floor. We'll start with Sabrina. Sabrina, what are your feelings on Let the Right One In? Now, not the remake, because there is a American.
I was going to say there is the English remake of Let Me In.
Chloe with Chloe.
With Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe.
So what do you think of this one?
If I have to describe how I feel about this movie, I remember seeing both of them. And Let the Right One In felt more compelling to me than Let Me In. Let the Right One In, again, has that, it's like the sweet love. It's not like the normal vampire lust type of love. Like it's, I don't want to say wholesome because it's not necessarily wholesome, but it borders the line of wholesome. Where the feeling that these two kids have, it's pure. It's nothing crazy, but it's creepy. It's a little gory. It's good. It's just good.
Mm-hmm.
I was very impressed. And like, I watch foreign films as much as I can, but to some degree, it's, of course, I don't want to read subtitles all the time. I want to be immersed in the background and constantly look at the screen of like, what can I find in the background? What can I find within the story? But this is definitely one of those foreign films that I would recommend to everybody.
Yeah, 1,000%. And what I actually really like, because even like how you mentioned, like with the love, the romance in this movie, it's pure. And it is to a certain extent, because when you watch it, now how many times have you seen the movie? Have you been once? Is more than once?
Twice.
This is, you start to realize, because I've seen it a couple times now, that her... Well, maybe her, because there's that one scene that you're not sure if that's actually a girl. So,
yeah,
very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But what she's doing is she's picking her next caretaker, in a sense, and
yes.
which is what she's picking is the boy. Now, I truly believe there is some sort of love there, some sort. But there is a reason why she's doing, she or he, yes. I don't know. This is why she's doing this. So. Is it pure, or is it just what it is what it is at this point?
I guess it comes off as pure. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be pure, but it comes off as pure. And I don't know, it gives you a good feeling until you realize exactly how fucked up it can be.
Very fucked up. We find out with the caretaker that she currently has.
Yes.
And it's fucking crazy. Mr. Malave, what about you? With the feeling of it, do you feel it's pure, or is it just like, well, it's pure because they're children?
Well, so let's not get it twisted here. She is not a child, even though she's
correct.
Like in a child's body, right? So she's a vampire. And as we see, like, they just don't age. I feel like it's pure to a certain extent, because she kind of sees a little bit of her when she was like alive in the kid, maybe, and that pureness of the child, that kind of adolescence, that kind of like smoke and mirrors in front of their faces still, you know what I mean? And she's just like almost envious in a way, but almost wants to like spend more time with them because of that, because she got turned when she was like a child, you know what I mean? So like now that she's seen all the chaos in the world and everything else, and she's lived for hundreds of years, she's kind of like going back to this child and kind of feeding off of his adolescence, almost like an energy vampire, you know what I mean? As well, just like sucking in all that purity, just because her world is all full of chaos, you know what I mean? Or their world is all full of chaos, because we still, whatever with that scene. It kind of gets you a little uncomfortable too, right? But no, I feel like this movie was it's the slow burn of a romance, right? That leads you into the feelings, but then gets you in those points where it reminds you that it is a horror movie. You know, and that's what I feel like. It was so well done, well shot, the original, and you don't even mind the subtext because, like, honestly, you read them for a while, but there's a lot of breaks in between where you get to enjoy the sceneries. Though every time that they're in the front of the building and they're talking, like they'll talk for a little bit, but then you see a lot of just the scene, which is them too, and you see a lot of their acting without words. And I felt like they done that really well in this film that they didn't do in the remake, the American version. And not to say the American version was bad because it wasn't, but this one itself, I mean, it's the best one, right? But yeah, I feel like this movie was so like it's the writing in this movie. It was just like immaculate because it gives you a different kind of take on this vampire like genre, right? It's almost like the Anne Rice and the Interview with the Vampire kind of esque where they're having moral conflicts and they're immoral, like they're immortal, like, you know what I mean? But they're still kind of like judging between right or wrong, but also they realize towards the end that they're still just creatures of the night and they can never be nothing else. You know what I mean? And this is why I fucking love this movie. When you drafted it, I was like, you son of a bitch. Like you took it, you grabbed it right at the end. I'm just glad that you did though, because we got to talk a little bit about it. But this movie I saw it long time ago. When it actually I want to say 2008, but maybe around 2010 and believe it or not, I think I saw the first one, the American version first. And then I was like, holy shit, this is an adaptation from a foreign one. And I instantly saw it. And I don't think I've seen the American version ever since. But yeah, no, this movie's phenomenal. It's really good.
Yeah, I feel like this this one's definitely better than the American version. I love the ending of this film. I love the fact that, you know, that one scene with the bullies and whatnot, and they shove his head in the pool, and it's so artistic in a way. You know, I don't want to say it's dramatic because it's not dramatic. It's very artistic of how they're just shoved the older kid is shoving his head in the water and he's not panicking. He's just fucking going with it because, you know, she's gone now and he feels a type of way and he's upset and he's depressed and he's just sitting there just dealing with it. Just you see the bubbles and then out of nowhere you see a fucking head and then you see the arm and then she pulls him up and that's it. And the movie ends and you're like, whoa, what just happened? And I loved it. Yeah, I feel this ending was so good. They stick to the trope of vampires, which I do like because when the lady gets bit, she becomes a vampire. And when the sun hits her, she fucking fries. Well, that scene's fucking awesome because the whole fucking hospital pretty much goes up in flames in a sense. That scene is it's a vampire movie. I love this. Twilight should have taken some fucking suggestions on this shit because
they could never.
No, they would never be able to do this. But they figured out the way where it works, where you can actually immerse yourself in the characters. And like I said, that one scene when she kind of turns a certain way, amazing camera fucking work. And she turns a certain way and you as the viewer are going, wait a minute. That is not a girl. That is a fucking grown-ass man.
That is a creature.
That is a creature of the night.
It's a shape-shifting creature.
That's fucking crazy. And that's why this movie it's just good. It is great. It's a top vampire movie. And if you haven't seen it, as somebody who's not a big fan of foreign films, I would highly suggest sitting down and watching it. It's worth it. You don't even need the subtitles. You don't even need the subtitles.
No,
just go in
honestly,
there.
Even if you don't read it, like if you don't read it and you just like watch it for what it is, you'll get the gist.
I really, really like this movie. So when you picked the topic, I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking grab this motherfucker. Then I also decided to grab this other motherfucker because we're moving on to the next one, which is Misery. You have a Stephen King. Well, I have a Stephen King as well, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen King, wrote this book called Misery. It's directed by Rob Reiner, and Rob Reiner is a pretty big name director. We got Kathy Bates and James Caan. Unfortunately, James Caan passed away. I believe it was last year. So
yeah,
that was R.I.P. to Mr. James Caan. This movie is fucking rough, okay? And rough as in Kathy Bates won herself a Best Actress award because she was so good in this movie. Annie Wilkes.
As she should.
Annie fucking Wilkes. You hear the name, you think Kathy Bates. You watch Waterboy, you think she's a psychopath.
She's psycho.
That's my mama. My mama's a psychopath. My mama put somebody in a room and then took a sledgehammer and broke his fucking leg.
It was disgusting.
Oh, that part's fucking great. That is a phenomenal scene.
So good.
Because you don't know. I mean, I guess we read the book. I don't know. I've never read the book, so I don't know if it's in it. But that scene's. I'm pretty sure it's in. That scene's coming. You're like, what's that? And you're like, oh fuck, because you see the whole. They don't turn the camera. It's just like, check it out. Beautiful.
And
this movie
like
shot so well.
Effects. You're like, oh,
you get to hear it too because they use that like jelly like substance. So when she hits that shit, and so it's just, and you're like, wow, that shit's nasty. But I do like the fact of how with Stephen King writing these books, I feel like this is a piece of his own life. Now, I don't think this actually happened to Stephen King, but I think that he feels like, James Caan is an author. There's fans out there that want more books, and, he needs to go in isolation to be able to write, like The Shining. And you got some psycho fuckheads. He gets into a car accident. Sure enough, somebody, oh my God, turns out she was fucking there the whole time. All she was trying to do was make him write a book. And write a book about Misery, the character Misery. Mm-hmm. What do you guys?
Baited him. She kind of baited him in the beginning too, when she like, oh, this is the book that I love, this and this. It's almost like
I'm your number
was
one
like
fan.
A crazed fan. Yeah, the crazed fan, like
Direct
and just
quote
like
from
right,
the movie.
right, yeah.
Yes, a direct quote from the movie. Which another question that also, I didn't remember that question. Go ahead, Mr. Malave.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I love the fact that she's just a crazy fan, and she's just like, you know what? I'm going to make my book, right? You know what I mean? Like, and she's just like, write about this shit, and she just winds up being fucking psycho. You know what I mean? And this was, I feel like this movie and Stephen King itself is such a genius on it. Like, Misery was kind of like the launching path, but kind of like and hear me out. This is going to be crazy, but let me finish, right? The whole Scream thing, right? It's just like writing their own movies and taking like the horror, like, the horror genre and watching all those movies and creating their own movie, right? She was creating her own book. You get me in a sense, and it was just, she's just a psycho, you know what I mean? And crazy fan. I thought it was great. And bro, this movie and it didn't take much, right? Most of it just takes place in a room, and it's just the dialect between those is so eerie, and like the dramatic pauses and the acting. I mean, you're talking about two juggernauts here, right? So like you're gonna get great method acting too, but like, I just feel like the slow burn that leads into all of these key points in the movie is just like, it's iconic, man. I forget you forget about this movie sometimes. Or I mean, I do, and then when you picked it up, I was just like, you know what? Let me just like kind of scroll through some highlights again. And I was just like, fuck, it all comes back to you because of how good this movie is. You know what I mean? And it doesn't get enough flowers, but this movie's great. It's really good.
Yeah, I have to agree. Sabrina, how are we feeling on this movie?
So, to be completely transparent, I have not seen Misery in a long, long time, but I do remember the first time I saw it, the scene with the sledgehammer made me nauseous.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
It made me nauseous, and I remember having to step away from it for a minute and come back to it. So maybe that is why I haven't seen it in a while, because I don't want to feel queasy again. But I definitely remember it being good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely need to rewatch.
It is on the tip of my brain for a rewatch, but I just I just haven't seen it in a long time.
We might have to have something on the show where we do like a rewatch and you go back to older movies that we haven't seen in a long time. And we could talk about those movies, and we'll put Misery on the list. But the one thing that I will say that I do really love about this movie, before we get into a vote, is the suspense. This movie really brings in suspense. The one scene when she goes to the store and he takes the opportunity, because he's in the wheelchair, and he takes an opportunity to find a way out of here, or to find out what the hell is going on, because she's claiming that the roads are fucked up, the phones don't work, all this shit. And when she's on her way back, and he's in a wheelchair. At this point now, he's out of the wheelchair because his legs are broken. And it's one of those like great suspense type of scenes when she's coming up the stairs and he's like, fuck, I gotta get ready because she's gonna fuck me up if I fucking. And she finds out anyway that he ended up trying to do something because he moved like those little porcelain animals that she had. And she's very particular. Yep. She keeps things in certain ways, and he moved one. So, and she comes in with the fucking needle because she was a nurse. So she can, fucking hit him with the needle, knock him out, paralyze him, all this shit. And I feel like Kathy Bates, you don't get that vibe from Kathy Bates. And when you watch this movie, you definitely get that vibe right off the bat. The scenes like where he's asleep and he wakes up and she's just standing right over him. Just, hey, motherfucker, you killed her? Like when he kills the character of Misery.
Oh yeah.
She's like, you motherfucker, like you will change this or I will end you. And he's just like, oh my God, I am sorry. Like Jesus. So I will say, it's a phenomenal movie. It's a must-watch film. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody watch it and say anything bad about it. At least from my understanding, if somebody does have something to say bad about it, I'd love to hear it. But just remember, I'm your number one fan. I didn't know I didn't know that this line was that famous from this movie. I've heard it in millions of movies, but I had to learn the hard way. So now it's time to learn the hard way, and maybe we'll let the right one in, or it might end in misery. Let's hear what we got. So what's going to win? We're going to start with Mista Malave. Who you got?
No. Fuck you with this, all right? Because like this is when the randomizer fucked like Jesus. You know what I mean? Because like you go with the classic, right? And it's Misery, right? But then you go to this different movie that's so well done, and you're like, you never thought that like it could stand a chance, right? We always talk about what movie can like kind of like dethrone some of these juggernauts, like, and you would never think Let the Right One In would be one of those, you know what I mean? But like, shit, bro. I mean, I'm sorry, I gotta go with Let the Right One In.
Going with Let the Right One In. So let's go to Sabrina. Sabrina, is it going to end with the right one coming in, or will it end in misery with Kathy Bates? Where are you going?
I'm gonna let the right one in.
You're gonna let the right one in. So the window's open. You're gonna say, "Come on in, motherfucker."
Yeah, I'm gonna be a caretaker. It's fine.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad I don't have to pick because both movies are fantastic. You know, you got an old school vibe from Misery, and you got Let the Right One In, which is, I may say it's definitely top 3 vampire movies. Maybe one of my favorites. May have turned into one of my favorites because I've recently seen it last year.
It's in my top 5 vampire movies. Yes.
We'll get there too. We'll definitely do an episode.
Oh, yes.
We definitely know that. The listeners
can't be a night school without vampires.
Exactly, and the students they know, but we eventually will get there. Let's get to the final matchup. And, well, can't wait to talk about this motherfucker because we have the 1982 version of The Thing. I got that film going against the 1974 Black Christmas. I got that one too. 2 top tier horror Thing is horror sci-fi. And Black Christmas, this is one of the top horror Christmas movies out there. People know this movie. It's so good. So we'll start with Black Christmas. Who here has not seen Black Christmas?
Me.
That's crazy.
Not even the remake?
Nope.
Which sucked? No?
Haven't seen it.
Remake sucked. Original, 10 times better. 10 times better. 1974. It's a slasher film. And it takes place during a Christmas party at a sorority house. And, I mean, you've definitely seen some of the kills like parodies of them because they're pretty famous.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of famous kills. We're talking about ice picks through the eye. We're talking about fucking the one girl in the attic who has the fucking saran wrap around her mouth, and she's got she's lit up like a Christmas tree. We're talking about if you want to talk about Scream getting any sort of fucking ideas and stuff, it's from this film because Billy's the one that calls them, and he's always on the phone and he has a weird voice. You know, hello, like that. That's kind of where Scream got that fucking play from. Black Christmas is a high price slasher film. Yeah, it falls underneath because of the Freddys and the Jasons and the Michaels and the Leatherfaces because they continued on. These tried remakes that could never come close to it. Original, 10 times better. This fucking movie is awesome and a must watch. I would even say there's 2 remakes. There's Black Xmas, and then there's Black Christmas. Black Christmas is the woke one. Black Xmas is still shit.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
Right. That one's still shit, but you still get some pretty good kills. And they stick to the script. They like in the other Black Christmas one, they just fucking went off the rails and decided to change everything, which is bullshit.
Right.
At least in Black Xmas, they stuck to the script where they were like, no, it's still Billy. And, you know, we're still getting to the point of good kills because there's some actual pretty big names in that film. And they die in some gruesome fucking ways. Great kills in Black Christmas. Mr. Malave, since you've seen it, what do you think of Black Christmas?
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree with everything you have to say about Black Christmas. I feel like in the 70s was like you mentioned, like peak with slashers with all the ones that you mentioned, but also after this, they realized that, you know, we can kind of like keep launching from there, and we have like Prom Night after it. You know, we have like Camp Fear and stuff like that. Just how can we keep one up with these kills, right? But this was kind of like one of the first of its kind as far as like taking place during Christmas, this happy time, you know, and then you just have this psycho killer going and just murdering all of these females, right? And I'm pretty sure like this was one of the first like almost all female cast, you know, in any kind of movie, and the fact that we get to see them die, it was kind of fucked up. But like, yeah, these kills are iconic. The voice and the torment, right? I feel like when you talk about suspense, right? I feel like they've kind of like one of the ones that created that whole slow burn, like who done it and like come and help me, like suspense, like get out of the damn house kind of thing. And you just know that they're always just destined to just die, you know? So I feel like they take all the like tropes, but they're almost like revolutionizing the tropes. Like you said, you talk about like Scream, kind of like grabbing like the whole torment with over the phone and just like playing games with them. You know, I feel like that's more that, you know, that's directly from Black Christmas, right? And just, I just feel like with the remakes, right? The 2001 kind of just like, it was a cash grab. I felt like they just like, sure, they stuck to the script in a way, but it was almost like kind of like shot for shot in a way, but just not as good. But I just felt like, you know, after, I think it came out right after a couple sequels of like, I Know What You Did Last Summer and all those other bullshits, like whatever, you know, but I still feel like my favorite kill is the one with the tape over and like she's just suffocating. I just like, I love that. It's cringeworthy, but that's what makes this movie so good. Yeah, man, I love Black Christmas. I haven't seen the original one in a while. I haven't seen any of them in a while. That woke one, we don't even talk about it. No. Like we'll leave it the fuck alone. I didn't even waste my time. Honestly, I'm not going to waste my time. If I'm going to watch Black Christmas, I'm going to watch the 70s version. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Sabrina, honestly, if you do nothing tonight, you watch Black Christmas, 'tis the season. Okay. 'Tis the fucking season.
I do have my list of holiday movies, and it's interesting because as you guys were talking about this, I just scrolled through a little bit of the plot, and it sounds so familiar to me. So I'm not sure if I am just confusing it with other movies that have the similar, like the calls coming from inside the house vibe, or if I saw bits of this movie, but I definitely didn't watch the whole thing, and I'm not sure why or what was happening in that time in my life. But like it sounds really good. So it definitely is on my holiday horror film list.
Yeah, it's a holiday horror classic. I mean, you know, again, like Mr. Malave even just said it right now. When a stranger calls, it gives that vibe of when a stranger calls.
Yeah.
You know, did you check the children yet? Like that's a vibe you don't want to know. Where you know you're at a party, it's a sorority house, which is great because you know, I mean, at least you know for us, we're sitting there going like, "Woo, girls, boobs, yeah, sweet,
Yeah,
and then they're gonna die. Whoa, girls, boobs, death, cool, love it." And you know, with the phone calls and not knowing that the killer's in the fucking house, you know, you don't know he's there because he's good, because Billy's that good. And, you know, the dark hooded figure where we can't see his face until the final fucking reveal. Scooby-Doo sense of shit. And I mean, a lot of the, you know, the slasher films got a lot of ideas from this film. They came from it, and it's a top tier notch movie. It's definitely a must watch. If you haven't seen it, please go back, watch Black Christmas.
Absolutely.
Now let's move on to the next one, which this movie right here. Okay, this is the 1982's The Thing. This is directed by John Carpenter. It stars Kurt Russell and Keith David. It's the most two names I'll give you because at the end of this movie, there's only two remaining. But are they truly remaining? I don't know. And they still, till this day, we don't know who the Thing is. John Carpenter has confirmed one of them indeed was a thing, but we don't know who. I think it was Keith David because I don't see it being Kurt Russell because Kurt Russell is a bad motherfucker. His character of McGrady is so badass. Kurt Russell at a time in the 80s was just this bad motherfucker. We're talking about The Thing. We're talking about Escape from New York, Escape from LA, Big Trouble in Little China. Like, this guy was the gift of action movies. You had Schwarzenegger, you had Stallone, but people keep forgetting about fucking Kurt Russell being just the man. But he's in like the weird fucking ones too. This movie, I'm telling you the facts. I have seen this movie in bits and pieces for years. Never sat down and truly watched it till 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I sat down and said, you know what? I'm going to watch this fucking movie from front to back. This movie has gone into my top 5 of favorite movies of all time because I finally sat down and truly watched it. It's a perfect whodunit. It's a perfect what is it? Because you don't fucking know. And then you see the doggy, and you get a little dog, and oh, this little cute little dog, little husky.
Don't trust the dog.
The dog's the fucking problem.
Don't trust the dog.
And I love that dog. That's my favorite kind of dog. And I was sitting there going like, I wouldn't fuck with that dog no more. Because that one scene when it goes, and that's the other thing. The practical effects in this movie. There ain't no fucking CGI in this shit. That's practical effects. Man, that shit's fucking awesome. Is this movie gory? Do you call that gore? I don't think that's gore. That's not blood.
No.
That's just practical
I feel like
effects.
that's like 80s gore, right? Like with the the latex, like with the latex and all the like you said,
colors.
practical effects. Like I feel like that's an art in itself. So I would give it gore. I would give it like that kind of gore because it's almost like the Jasons and the Freddys when we get in all that. Like that's not, it gets to special effects, but like the original ones, like that's like latex and all those, like how can we make it look like an arrow's going through someone's fucking neck? Like you got me? Like I feel like it is. I feel like that is gore.
Yeah, so all right, and let's say like alien
I'd
gore.
say it's like a light, soft gore.
Soft
like
gore.
It's not heavy, but like it's there.
Like you could get
it's like the tip of the iceberg.
A weird feeling in your tummy, you know, when you watch it. Like you might get a little weird feeling in it, especially like when the head
like when the
comes
neck
up.
Is stretching.
Oh my god!
Just,
but then when the head falls, this is what makes that movie so fucking awesome because the thing. If you go back and try to figure out when the person becomes If they even are one, you don't know. I mean, so most of them you obviously find out. But to find out when it actually happened is fucking crazy because it's almost impossible to figure it out. Some yes, some no. Mm-hmm. But when the head comes off and then it grows fucking legs and then the antenna, and you're like, holy shit, this thing is fucking crazy. But here's what makes it even more insane. Now, this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is a remake of an original movie. So this is a new concept, but it is taken from something else. But the whole point of the whodunit mystery, who is the bad guy? And then we get to the end and you ask yourself, is it Keith David, he's great in this movie, Childs, or is it McGreedy? Is it Kurt Russell? Who's the thing? I don't know. I think it's Keith David because he disappears for a bit and then he comes back towards the end and says, where have you been? Oh, I had to just do. What the fuck? But he still has the earring in his ear, and then they determine in the other one, in the prequel, that they lose all the fillings and all that stuff. I think they were just adding shit to add shit, but it has been confirmed that one of those two are a thing, and only 3 people know who it is: John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, and Keith David, and that's it, and not one person speaking. Now let's discuss, Sabrina, what are your feelings on The Thing?
I love The Thing. And before I lose the train of thought, when you said, it loses, they lose the fillings and stuff, it's because the Thing can't recreate something that's not organic.
Correct, right, that's why.
So, yeah. But I love The Thing. When I first saw this movie, I had to be 13, 14. Huge crush on Kurt Russell. Hands down, I'm he's just a badass dude and he's good looking and this movie is insane. And whenever I see a dog in a horror film, I'm they better not kill the dog. At this point, I'm oh, you should have fucking killed the dog.
Kill the dog.
I have never once said that in another horror film of kill that fucking dog. Mm-hmm. It's so good. Anytime somebody talks about the remakes, I'm yeah, you can watch the remakes all you want, but you need to see Kurt Russell. It's classic. It's just, you need to watch this movie. It's so good. And again, we borderline on the gore. It's the tip of the iceberg of gore, and the SFX makeup is on point for the whole movie. They act the crap out of this movie. It's so well written, and I think out of all of them, it was John Carpenter deemed it his favorite movie. Mm-hmm. So it speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does. It's a goodie. I mean, yeah, kill the dog, shoot the fuck. This, keep in mind,
you should have killed the dog.
This movie starts off from an ending of another movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before that movie was ever thought of. John Carpenter's we're going to start it off.
Spaceship just coming in.
They're starting off with the dog. They're starting off with the fucking dog already as the thing. We don't know. The new one, the prequel was years later, 20 plus years, 30 plus years later, before that movie even came out. We started at the end of a film.
And it was still good. It was
fucking crazy, Mista Malave. The Thing, how you feeling?
Yeah, man, I feel this movie is so good also because going into it, right? You even if you've never seen the trailer or anything else like that, you start off that one scene and you think it's a completely different movie than what it is, right? And then when you start it's almost like an onion, like a fucking beautiful horror onion that you're just peeling back layers, and it just gets deeper as you and stronger as you keep going, and the kills get more intense, the suspense gets more intense, right? The who done it, it's just I don't fucking know anymore. People that I thought done it, it's fucking dead now, and now now these 2 people are it, and maybe they're both it. I don't know, maybe there's 2 things, I don't know, but it's so good because it was so well shot. And it was almost in this world now that we live in, everything gets spoiled, right? I can only imagine putting myself in that position, watching it as it came out, and people are holy shit, let's discuss. You know what I mean? And they didn't have a platform like we did, and the fact that we get to talk about it, I feel like we're spoiled, but that's what this movie is so good about, right? Because you could still have things to talk about now. I haven't seen this movie in so long. So when you drafted it,
no.
I went back and I saw highlights and stuff. But if you guys get a chance, and this is a free plug for them and they don't need it, but New Rockstars has a new channel called The Deep Dive, and they do a deep dive of the thing, and it's crazy. I mean, if you know what they do, he goes crazy with like pinpointing different things. But like in this, with the deep dive, there's 45 minutes of just him connecting stuff from the studio and this and that. And
I watched that one. I watched that YouTube video. It was great.
Yeah, it's insane, man. And I personally love this movie. Kurt Russell was at he at the peak at this time? And if he wasn't, this is like a launch, right? Because boy, and then this is what I love about this challenge. It adds a different aspect to what we talk about, and believe it or not, like the cold itself plays a factor here.
Yes.
A lot. Like they're like, we cannot run out here and stay out here that long because we will freeze to death.
Well,
you get me? Like,
what was the tagline of the movie? It was like, a warm human is the best place to hide or something.
Yeah, something like that, and which is fucking awesome.
That was the tagline for the movie.
It was on like one of the movie posters like forever ago because somebody printed it on a T-shirt. I'm not doing it justice. Like, I know that's not the verbatim quote, but it's like something of like, a warm human is the best place to hide or something.
Really? I'm going to have to check that out. Man is the warmest place to hide.
That's the one.
Man, there we go. But yeah, okay. So I want to say something, but hold on a second. All right, 82, and so they make a nice connection, right? And it's just like it. I know we have the transforming like kind of alien thing that like is just morphing into shape shifting and everything else too. But there's something about like the isolation factor that's very eerie, similar to another horror movie that we all love called Alien. Right. And it's almost like there's nowhere to go. And what do you do? And I feel like if it's such a simple concept, but it still just holds the test of time. And this fucking movie, even with this practical effects, you could say whatever you want to say looking into it now because we're spoiled. But like this was ahead of its time. Like all these, like all the practical effects and everything else like that, definitely ahead of its time. Yeah, I mean, and the fact that John Carpenter says this is his best movie, goes to show, and it's the fucking dog. I love Huskies. Me
too.
Don't trust it.
Me too. And that's
you
what
love it.
really
Just don't
got
trust
me.
it.
I mean, let's talk, when you talk even before we get to the vote, when you talk about like jump scares and moments that you didn't expect, the blood scene when they're testing the blood is fucking great. Like, it's just like, hey, dude, and it's like so suspense, where he's flipping it and just he dips it in there. All right, nope, you're good. Nope, you're good. And then then they start getting back and forth, and the argument starts happening because they don't trust anybody. Nobody trusts anybody, and they're just like, "Fuck you, get me away." I don't think this motherfucker. And then did Kurt Russell, bang, and then bang, and you're like, "Oh, it's that dude. It's fucking that guy." And then he starts to shake, and then his face starts. Oh man, fantastic movie. This movie is. It's classic. It's a really good movie. It's
so good.
And if you haven't seen the fucking movie, then you have to stop what you're doing right now and go watch this movie now. Watch it now. Stop
Pause
the episode
podcast,
now.
Go
Stop.
watch the movie. Come back.
And then come back.
Now, let's get into the votes. We'll start with Sabrina Ace. What do you got for me here?
I gotta go with The Thing. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen Black Christmas, so I'm a little biased, but it's even just reading the synopsis. Yes, I do want to watch Black Christmas, but The Thing is a movie I can watch over and over again. If somebody in my circle says they haven't seen that movie, I will immediately sit down and watch it with them. It is top tier for me.
All right, Mista Malave.
I mean, I hate to say this, right? Because Black Christmas deserves a little bit, but like it's not even a competition here. It's The Thing. It's the better horror movie. It's just the better winter movie. It's just great. The thing. It's moving on.
All right, so the thing is moving on. Black Christmas gets a tip of the cap, of course, because well deserved, good Christmas film. Yeah, I forgot to even do the second round all around for Let the Right One In. So that means Let the Right One In and The Thing gets themselves a second round all around. All right, now it is time to go to the final matchups. We'll go all the way back to Mista Malave's conference. We have 30 Days of Night going against The Shining. Now, obviously, we've already discussed both of these films. Mm-hmm. It's just time to vote. So, Mista Malave, you pick who you'd like to go first.
Yeah, let's get right into the votes. Like Tommy said, just state your case and place your vote. And I'm gonna go with ladies first. I'm gonna go with Sabrina Ace.
I might get some smack for this, but I have to do 30 Days of Night. Like, I love The Shining and I love 30 Days of Night, and this is a hard pick for me. But 30 Days of Night just gives me that kill feeling, that gore that I want, whereas The Shining does not. So I love the story for The Shining. Got to go for the kills of 30 Days of Night.
All right. Okay. 30 Days of Night gets a vote.
Respect to 30 Days of Night, but you're out of your mind. I'm sorry. We're talking
you were about to curse. You should have left it alone. You just should have.
I couldn't. I had to hold back for that one. Because let's be real for a second. We're talking about what movie's better. We're talking about what movie is better. And when it comes to what's the better movie, it's The Shining is a better movie. Hands down. Yes, of course. You get more gore. You get more kill in 30 Days of Night. But it's not a better film. I'm not even going to say if I put them both in front of you, because you obviously take 30 Days of Night. That's literally why you're picking it. But when it comes to the better movie, the better winter-themed horror film, I'm going to have to go with The Shining. So, Mr. Malave, you will be making the choice of who you take to WinterCon.
Yeah, this isn't even a question here. Sabrina, I respect your animosity, I guess, your poise, your will to go against the grain, your will to want to see more vampires and gore.
You could just say insanity. Setting. It's fine.
That's what it is.
Your craziness. You should be in the hotel with Jack, because you're fucking crazy. The Shining is the better movie of the two. And if
I was in the hotel with Jack, it would still end the same way. I just wouldn't have the cool bathroom scene.
Yeah, well, maybe you would be the vampire because you just came back from Antarctica. But you are insane, ma'am. But I love the ballsiness. But The Shining is going to represent Mista Malave at WinterCon because it is the better winter horror movie. All right, so I'm going with The Shining. And yeah, that's it.
That's a fair choice there. That's the correct answer, let's say. I respect
I don't think anyone would fight me.
I respect
I won't
Sabrina.
even fight you.
I respect That's Sabrina's opinion.
I won't fight you on it because it's a great movie and I love that movie. I just personally want more gore.
She wants the gore, and that's fair.
I want a kill that isn't Jack Nicholson, okay?
Right,
besides the one guy. Like, come on.
That's fair.
I mean, he got an axe to the feet, to the chest.
Yeah.
An axe to the
chest.
That
is fair, though. I get it.
That's fair. It's insane, but it's fair, and that's okay.
And I'll take that. I'll own that.
It got out of the first round, and that's the
I'll
respect.
Be a crazy
it
bitch for it. I'm cool
fine.
with that.
You are a crazy bitch to determine.
You are.
The listeners right now are thinking, they're like, "What the fuck? Who's she talking about?" But her reasoning. What? That's what it's all about.
Fight
reasoning.
me on Twitter.
It's all about reasoning, and if you have a good reason, if you could fight and defend your reason, then it's okay. This is what the challenge is about. You have to be able to defend your reasoning, and that's a good reason. It's just not a correct reason, but it's a good reason.
Yeah.
So
I'll take it.
That's fair. Let's go to my final matchup, which will be Let the Right One In going against The Thing, 1982. I have to specify that because the prequel is also called The Thing. So let's start again.
Which I never got. Why is it a prequel and it's called The Thing? And like,
I don't know.
whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to find
It's still
the movies because when you search it on anything, it's like, oh yeah, you can find the 1982, and you're like, wait.
But I need the 2000 and
wait a minute.
What year was that one? The newer one was at 2000.
I think it was like
that's gonna
early
16. No,
later.
11.
11. Yeah, I knew it was in the
2011.
teens, almost
the thing,
19,
yeah. The thing 2011. You have
I
to
wanted to say
remember it's 2011.
2009 to 2010, but whatever. It's close.
Close enough. So here we go. I gotta be honest with you, I'm a little afraid to go to Sabrina. So because of that, I think I'm gonna have to start Mista Malave and let Sabrina think about her answer before she throws out some
Do I scare you, Tommy?
Does she throw out some stupid shit? And it's like, I need more gore with blood. And I kind of picked vampires last time. I picked vampires again. So we're gonna go Mista Malave.
Yeah.
Who are you going?
I think she's on like a vampire craze here, but let's just be honest. I think yours is a little harder than mine.
I'd say mine's a little tougher.
Because you're talking about a really good foreign film that like does the vampire genre right. It kind of like puts a nice little adrenaline shot into the vampire genre at that point in time when they got when it released, because the vampire lore was kind of like, and all we had was Blade, thank God. But then you talk about The Thing, and it's just talking about like the classics, right? And a lot of these Gen Zs, they shit on the classics because of how they look, right? And how it's hard to follow because it's so grainy and this and that and the third. But you're talking about a movie that's passed the test of time. We got a head that's a spider in this fucking movie, right? And for that movie, that alone and all the shit, like, it's still fucking scary. I would challenge any fucking person to come sit down and watch it with me and not be like, this shit is fucking out of the world. Like, I can't even talk because out of this world, right? Because it really is like, it's a phenomenal movie. So I'm going with The Thing. Long story short.
All right, going with The Thing. I'm afraid to go to the next fucking person, but let's give it a shot here.
Don't let what you can't understand scare you.
Sabrina Ace, listen, we know you love your vampires, okay? We know you love dual gore, but between Let the Right One In, phenomenal film, by the way, and The Thing, 1982, by the way, where are you going?
Just to preface,
you know what? I don't even think I want you to vote, to be honest with you.
But I actually just love gore over vampires. So as much as I loved Let the Right One In, because it's different for the vampires, I'm not a vampire chick.
That's right. You have said that before.
Yeah, I'd rather stay away from the vampire genre. But I might throw you through a loop for this one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Of course, it's The fucking Thing. I'm going to vote The Thing. I love that movie. Let the Right One In is great. It's an artsy masterpiece. The Thing. Hands down.
All right, good. So she obviously finished her whiskey and whatever the fuck she was drinking before, because reality settled in for. But no, it is true, because I have to agree with both. I agree. I knew The Thing is the answer, but Let the Right One In. It's a very good artsy vampire film. You know, it's not the ordinary vampire movie, but it deserves its praise because it is really good. The thing with that movie is, I can't see a lot of people sitting through it unless you're invested in interest, because it's artsy, it's a different language, and it could get kind of boring because there's a lot of talking.
Some people don't even know it exists because they've seen Let Me In.
Yes.
They don't know that it's an English adaptation of that movie.
Right.
So it's great for those that know it, and for those that don't, I suggest you watch it. But The Thing, definitely The Thing.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
That movie's fucking amazing.
Out of all these
So
movies,
good.
The Thing has been the one for me.
The Thing is such a good. I was so glad that Mista Malave is the music man and I'm the movie guy, BayBay, because he got the first pick because he's the music man. I got the first pick because I'm the movie guy, because I was not allowing this movie to go to Mista Malave.
Like, I know I'm not allowed to input my vote for the con, for the
It just doesn't count.
But on the basis, it's The Thing.
Well, I hope that everybody there also agrees with you, because you never know. You never know what could happen. I mean, I feel I have a better opportunity because it's technically a sci-fi convention So I'm hoping, but again, that doesn't mean anything. That means jack shit. We can go in there and Matt, you only need, how many votes did we agree on? Was it 11?
I think it was like 11.
11 or 13.
11 or 13. Yeah, I think it was 13.
13. Okay, so you need 13. Wait, no, because would that work? 13? Yeah, I guess 13. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, you need 13 votes, and it's very possible you could just run into people that have either never seen The Thing or they just are really into The Shining more.
My
What's
bet
good
is
about
that
these two?
it'll be more people that haven't seen it.
Oh, The Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've seen The Shining, I think you've seen The Thing.
I hope they could.
You know, I can't see you saying, I've never seen The Thing, but I've seen The Shining. Like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they're two completely different movies.
They are.
So I feel like
true.
I feel
If people
like
are
that
really
can
into
come up.
Stephen King, even the newer Stephen King movies, they're going to go back and watch his work. So, but
Yeah,
I hope they have
absolutely.
some sense.
I mean, I hope they choose The Shining. But
I love The Shining too.
I love the fact that both are number one picks, and we kind of called it. Like, I mean, not to give shade on all the other movies except for 30 Days a Night that Sabrina said that would beat The Shining. But we said that these two are probably going to come out of our conferences, and rightfully so. I'm excited. I mean, I'm a little nervous because it is The Thing. But I have a juggernaut that's The Shining as well too. So if any two movies are gonna go to blow to be the best winter horror movie, it's these two. It's these two. I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a really good convention with a really good matchup. I'm very excited to see where it goes. But that's gonna do it for stage one, which is winter themed horror films. I almost said holiday because the next one coming up is a holiday. It's going to be interesting. I feel we both have some heavy hitters, and because it's only one stage and because it's only 13 votes, it really is going to determine who you run into. That's how it's just going to determine you. It's not like where it's like, well, just go until you hit 50. No, it's only 13. So you could run into some people that are just like, fucking, it's The Shining. But then again, you can run into some people and it can be a sweep.
Just all picking.
It could be a sweep, 13 fucking votes. Well, I mean, once you reach a certain point, it's over. You know, once you hit, what is it? Once you get 7 votes, it's over. So if you get 7,
you can't really come back.
If you get The Thing 7 times in a row or The Shining 7 times in a row, there's no need to continue. It's over. You cannot surpass the number 13. So first to 7 gets it.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
So I think that's going to be very, very interesting. I do see that the bell is getting ready to ring because we have to move on to some second rounds and do the second stage. But again, to all the people out there that are listening, we want to just say thank you guys so much for listening. You need to enroll with Night School Horror because, hey, we talk some crazy shit. We got the holidays are coming up, so we're going to talk about some amazing holiday discussions. I'm not going to get into full detail, but Michael Keaton does get involved in one of them. I want to let you know that one because I'm very excited about that. Because we love Michael Keaton, and we love when he sings, and we love snowmen that don't fuck Shannon Elizabeth. So great pick on that one, Mista Malave. And,
yes.
You know, you got to check out second rounds as well because this is where part 2 is going to be showing up. And we will see next time. Well, not next time, because technically the next episode will be the pop quiz. So after that, we will find out who is the winner at WinterCon in 3 stages of winter.